Us. Welcome, family. It is once again time to have another opportunity to take a look and take a walk. You know what I'm saying? Walking with the Master. That is the name of this podcast, Walking with the Master, and it's stimulated by our walk with Doc, but our walk in life in general. And I want you to really know that I appreciate these women that are on this episode, and this is a Mother's Day episode. So what I want you to do while you are waiting or you are looking at this and we're getting ready to get started, I want you to touch the link, so that you can subscribe, so that you can become a part of all of the shows that we're doing, because we've had some powerhouses on, and not to say that we don't have them right now, but you're going to get a chance to take a look and listen to these wonderful women who have been doing and giving their life for the martial arts, which is really for people. So without any further delay, I want to introduce you to this young lady up on the top. The young lady on the top is someone I know her pretty good. She's my wife, Sister Aziza Muhammad, and I'm really happy to have you, my dear, on this call, because how could I have a mother in the art, and everybody calls her Mama Judy. So welcome, hon.
Thank you. Happy to
All
be
right.
here.
And in addition to her on this call, another sister who I have known for many years. I don't want to say many years, too much. Like, you may think that she's an older sister. Well, let me just tell you, she has time on the job. She has done a lot of work and is incredible at what she does and how she does it. Professor Dominique,
Yes.
welcome.
Yes.
Yes. And next to her, I've known her father for many years, and that means that I've known her as well, because she is a prodigy of her father. And her father is Professor Urban Muhammad, and I want to welcome his daughter, and who we are hosting today, and that is Professor Zahelia. Welcome, my dear.
Yes.
Us. Well, great. Well, this is Mother's Day, and I wanted to just say to all of you, Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Us.
You're very welcome. Us. Now, in terms of Mother's Day, I'm going to pass on a beautiful bouquet of flowers to you, and you'll see it, and it is something that we're just sending to you in spirit, and it's for you. So let us get on with this podcast. What is this podcast for? What is it all about? And it's about this particular podcast is about the women in the art. It says Mother's Day. Well, one would tend to think that maybe you as a woman have to be mothering children, but women in the art, if they present themselves in the best manner, they're always mothering others as they help to raise them. See, a mother, a woman, it says if you teach a man, you teach an individual. But if you teach a woman, you teach a whole nation. So that's what you represent. And I wanted to really get an opportunity to talk to you all about your mothering aspect in this art. What do you see? And I want to go into the roots, because I always start at the root of the tree. And the root is where you came from, how you got involved in this, and and where are you at this point? And we continue going up. So I want to open up first, and if you may, Professor Dominique, why don't you share with me your roots and kind of go over it and let me know what that is, and share it with us. Let all of us know what's going on with Professor Dominique.
Well, in terms of my roots, I started studying the martial arts. My father actually brought me into the arts, and I've been studying the martial arts for approximately 35 years at this point.
Awesome.
My strength is in the Korean art of Hapkido and Jiu-Jitsu. I'm a strong believer that women should definitely be in the martial arts. It's something that is very empowering, and it gives us a sense of space to release the stress of life. So I'm an advocate for women in the martial arts.
Beautiful, beautiful. Stress, it gives you an opportunity to relieve the stress of life. That is a beautiful statement, and I hope you don't mind me stealing it from you at some point, but it's beautiful. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Professor Zahalia, why don't you give me a little of your roots, please?
I come from Sonic District Jiu-Jitsu, born and raised. Luckily, I've been blessed to be a part of it through my instructor, my father, Professor Irvin. And with being in Sonic, it has enhanced me as a woman, as a mother, as a wife, as an auntie. My students and I, we have a great relationship with each other, and their parents as well. It helps me provide a sense of calmness, and sometimes in other people's chaos, on how to remain calm in situations that may come their way, through life. And martial arts has helped us build that strength from within.
Awesome. Beautiful. I love it. I love it. Thank you. And Sister Judith, Sister Aziza, pardon me. Sister Aziza, so, give me a little bit about your background and how you got into the arts.
Well, first, I would really like to let everyone know that I'm terrifically uncomfortable being in this space with such greats as Professor Dominique and Professor Zahalia. I admire these women and what they do in the martial arts. They put in time, they put in effort constantly, which is something I'm still struggling with. But my roots go back pretty far from the time that I met Grandmaster Aziz. In 1990 really was when I first started getting active. And it's because I met a man that interested me in what he did, and what he did so proficiently. I decided that I would try it myself. And coming from a correctional background, having worked in the Department of Correction, it was something that I saw that was absolutely necessary for me in protecting myself, learning the art of self-defense. So I've been involved with VSK since that day, and it has been a beautiful journey in meeting greats like Dr. Musa Muhammad. I cannot tell you how much I really wish that I encapsulated everything early on and went through the whole experience of him being in my presence, but watching him, talking to him, caring for him at different times, when he came to visit or he was at our school and so on and so forth. It's just been a marvelous experience. And this particular thing has allowed me to mother a lot of the children coming in and out of the dojo. They were my children's age and younger, and they all gravitated to calling me mama. And I guess I have to say that this position is honorable, and man, I just fell into it. So I thank Allah.
Awesome. Awesome. That's great. That's great. So let's go to Doc. Let's go into Doc, and I want you to kind of share some experience, some talk. What do you know about Doc? I know that's a very big question. I don't even know how I would begin to answer that myself. But I want to say, let's just talk about in your coming in his presence. How did you see him? What kind of man was he like? And give me a little bit on that from you. Let's start with you, Zahalia.
My first experience meeting this man was I felt a huge presence. He came to Long Beach at one time and visited our dojo. And I was a teenager at that time, so seeing a big, tall, strong Black man just walk through the doors was truly inspiring as a teenager growing up. And then to get to be able to train with him later on in life and being able to feel his touch was just a confirmation that being the man that he was, it's possible to install his teachings into me as a woman, and me teaching so on and so forth to the other generations on how to be strong, have a good presence, but to also be soft and also to be kind and humble at the same time. So my feeling, being with Dr. Notice Powell, being with my father, being with you, just all the men that I've got to be into, and all the women and sisters, having strength, calmness, soft, and being strong.
Beautiful, beautiful. Others would see that conversation in from a martial arts general point of view, yin and yang. The hard and soft and its aspects. But when you start dealing with women, it's like color, and with men, it's black, it's white, it's the basic colors. But when you start dealing with women, then it's mauve. It has all of these different colors and shades. You know what I mean? So the view and how you all look at a thing is very important. I don't want you to think that anything that you would say, anything that in terms of your view is so important, because everybody that's looking at this is looking at it from whatever direction you are bringing it. So we want you to, share all of the colors of the spectrum with everyone. So I love it. I love it. Professor Dominique, let me hear yourself on your being with Doc.
My first day I met Doc was in a seminar that was given in Brooklyn. Professor V actually was teaching the seminar, and he came in late. And when he walked in, I was at awe at the size. And it wasn't just him, it was Grandmaster Bill, Master Black. Mm-hmm. They all walked in, and it was like, I would have to say it was like the mountains of Africa all walked in at the same time. And it was quite intimidating because I was the only woman in the seminar at that time. And the only person that was close to my height was Professor V. And I was like, wow, they're pretty big. They're really big people. But when I saw how he was extremely humbled in front of Grandmaster V, I was like, wow, it's interesting that even the mountains bow down when it's the appropriate time. And I saw that care and respect that they shared between the two of them. Mm-hmm. And I felt that at that moment, I felt there was room for someone as small as I am amongst all these giants. Mm. And to see that even in giants, sometimes we have a tendency to think that giants are the monsters of society, and they're not. Most of them have hearts, and they care, and they can actually project all that to someone a lot smaller in that term, in terms of Professor V at that time. And it was just, I was at awe. It was extremely interesting to just watch that whole dynamics between Professor V and Dr. Moses Powell.
That's beautiful. You know, it reminds me that, like, I was in Trinidad in particular, and we were in the mountains, but there was a small area of water, and they said that you have to be careful that you do not get taken by this water, because it's one that goes down deep into the mountain.
Mhm.
So you had to tread on the top of this particular water if you were going to just swim across. So they said it could be dangerous. Of course, because it was dangerous, I guess I chose to dive in and swim across. But the beauty of that, when you mention them as mountains, that there are valleys within the mountain that you can't necessarily see from the outside. You know, you see the vastness and the large mountain, but there are valleys inside that one, only if you get in could you really see by doing so. So that just reminded me of that, and it was just beautiful to hear your description. Thank you. Aziza, so tell me, your what was your first view? Do you remember the first time you saw Doc?
I believe the very first time that I saw Doc was when he walked into When Worlds Collide, and I was in When Worlds Collide. I never really had, well, there were a couple of classes that I can remember actually being in on a Saturday, and Doc was there teaching. However, you know, I'm always handling things at the desk and doing this and doing that. But what I remember is that I looked at like both the sisters said, he was big. You know, I watched how people reacted to him, which to me was like kind of funny, because when he walked in the room, it was like everybody was at attention. Everybody was like ready to bow down. They were straight up focused on Doc, you know, nothing moving. And I was like, man, he commands so much respect. You know, he commands so much upright posture from people, you know. And this was my first introduction to the man. Then, as I began to watch and listen to him, he was funny. He would crack me up. And also, I saw him in relation to his teacher. Okay, Professor V, small man, like Professor Dominique said about her size, small, frail looking, right? But Doc was like the other side of the coin, huge man. But when you really get to know him and talk to him, oh my God, I understood why people called him the gentle giant, you know? And then on the other side, when you have Professor V and people look at him as just a small, frail man, when you see Professor V on the mat, as many times as I've seen him put you in some severe pain, I'm like, wow, that is really, truly, I mean, Doc was just like, he was all his teacher, but in an upside down view, kind of. I don't know how else to explain it, but it was so interesting. Doc offered a lot of conversation in respect, as far as to me, you know, the things that we would conversate about were just normal things. I always appreciated how he would turn something, you know, serious into something funny, you know, and, you know, I respected that. It made me see things differently, because I used to be a very serious person about everything. but now I'm much lighter. Maybe it's the age, but I appreciate that from Doc, as well as appreciating how he commanded respect, and I guess anybody that can put you in so much pain like that in an instant will be respected.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. What I'd like for you all to do is, there were teachers. Of course, Doc is the mountain, and absolutely, and I should say one of the mountains. Like we mentioned, Grant Professor V and whatnot, but. You all have had the opportunity to work with or study under others. I want to get an opportunity for you to mention that as well, because there's the root, then there's you got the beginning of the trunk itself, or the base of the tree as it's growing up. See, but it's your connection and what you have had. So if you could kind of share, and if you want to enlighten us on some of those who have had the opportunity to teach you, your just instructors who you'd like to mention in this episode or this podcast, please share with me a little bit about your background and some of your teachers. All right. Would you like to start this time, Dominique?
Sure.
Okay.
I must say that because of mostly of what I am right now as a martial artist is I owe it entirely to Grandmaster David Herbert. He's
Yes.
been my teacher for close to 35 years. And because of him, he has given me access to what I would call his brothers of the art, primarily Soke Little John Davis. He's been my teacher just as long as Sabadim David Herbert. He felt that I needed to grow as a martial artist, so he took me to Harlem, which is where Soke was teaching at that time, and he had me attend classes there on a regular basis on Tuesdays and Thursdays. While I'm training with Soke, I got to know Grandmaster Malik Shabazz, which is an awesome practitioner, great kicks and flexibility. As a result of that as well, while training with Grandmaster Shabazz, I've gotten to know Grandmaster Bill McLeod, which is another of the giants.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say he would be like the sage of the family,
Mm-hmm.
where his capacity to give advice and to look at things from different perspectives, he's been that individual in my point of view. And there's a lot of others that I've come to know. Professor Tom Curry. I've been blessed to have met and married Professor James Sims.
Yes.
Grandmaster Logan out of Connecticut. So
I know
quite
the
a few.
I know the list is long, because of course, I know you, so that's beautiful. Because being introduced or connected into this family, we have giants. We have an array of practitioners, and really those who Doc has touched, Soke and I mean those that he has touched are enlightened. You know what I mean? It is beautiful. I've mentioned this before. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said of Dr. Moses Powell or Musa Muhammad, he said that he is a god of the martial arts. So that's a part of this podcast, so when we say a god of the martial arts, that means that his prowess, his movement, his thinking, his presence in this has proved to be not one who is just studying, but one who is greater than just a master, but he is a master of masters. I know. So there's so many that are in that way. And I know my brother Sabanim, and David Herbert. He is truly, I mean, someone who I absolutely respect as well, because he is a professional when it comes to managing a school and whatnot. Could you share a little bit about your how you see him? Because I know he's been a great aspect in your life as well.
I've always seen Sabanim as, I would call him a silent warrior. He's a man of very few words, but of a lot of action. He takes care of what needs to be taken care of, and he does it in his own way. And what I like is it's unapologetic, which means that what has to be done must be done, and he does it. Martial arts is a huge responsibility, especially running a martial arts school. And Professor Zahalia can also confirm on that. And there are times when the best plans are not the correct plans, and you have to be able to adapt. Yes. And just like in the martial arts, doing a technique, you start off thinking in your mind that it's going to be perfect, and halfway you realize that things are not moving and swaying and moving to your will. So then you have to make the adapt. You have to be able to adapt quickly and correctly, because a second chance is great, but you won't get a third. So it is looking at everything, short terms and long terms. And his capacity to do that is something that I try to learn from on a daily basis.
Yes. Excellent. And I really appreciate that. Let's stay with you for a moment. And again, the beauty is so many. I mean, Brooklyn is a mecca. New York, I should say. New York is a mecca of martial arts, and it's been that way, since I've come up. In the 60s and the 70s. Oh my God, the 70s. You would think they were the gangs, in this sense, not in a negative sense, but the power and the numbers, the sheer numbers of some of these schools, the Town Dojo, Doc's Sanukis Dojo, everyone doesn't know about all of that, but nonetheless, it was incredible. So I want to just kind of touch another of our loves, and I said ours, Soke Littlejohn Davis. So tell me, a little bit about Soke. Come on.
Well, what you see of Soke is exactly what you get.
Great.
Soke never pulled any punches because you're a woman. He challenges you. He challenges you, and he uplifts you in his own way. Because once you've accomplished what he says you've accomplished, you definitely have accomplished it. Because he asks for 100%, but I think he takes no less than 125%. So as a result, he's always pushing you. Every time you reach your comfort zone, he pushes you further into your discomfort area, because that's the only place where growth actually takes place.
That's right.
So he pushes you there, and once you become comfortable, then he pushes you some more. So Soke is a teacher that Sabanim Herbert always say that a teacher has to be greedy. And Soke is such, where he gives you something, he wants you to progress, and once you've reached that, he asks for more. And that's the only way any teacher can actually get progress from his students. And I like the fact that Soke does not separate the genders too much. What he requires of one person, he requires it from me as well. And and when that occurs, then you don't question exactly who you are and how you have obtained what you've obtained with him, because you know that all the hard work you did, everyone else have done it. Everyone else has experienced it, and you can actually share more with your fellow classmates per se, if you actually gone through that same fire that they have gone through. So I have to say, Soke have made sure that I've gone through those fires, and I cannot say I've walked out of those fires without any
Any burns?
any burns. I have, but it's made me stronger. During that time, I would have begged to differ, but it definitely has made me stronger, and I can actually say that I'm part of something. I'm part of something that is legendary, because Soke is a legendary
That's right.
martial artist himself, being a full contact fighters in the 70s and appearing in Madison Square Garden, and till this day still teaching,
Mhm.
which is spectacular. And he has also moved on to the Zoom platform, which is that generation is having a hard time with technology, but it's great to see that he's on that platform and still teaching and still offering all that he has to give, as long as we are here to receive it. So yeah, Soke, I can go on forever with Soke, and his history is phenomenal.
Yes.
But in a nutshell, I'm very happy when I look back in time and see all that I went through. I'm grateful for it, because it has made me a stronger person to deal with life on a regular basis, and to know what I rightfully deserve. And that is the best of everything, because I've been pushed to give my 125% at all times. So if I get 80, I know I'm receiving 80.
Mhm.
And that's not what I rightfully deserve, because I've given so much more.
Yeah.
So he has helped me to be a much stronger person than I thought that I could have become. So yeah, Soke is a tough teacher, but it makes him an excellent teacher.
Excellent. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. And we're going to shoot on over to you, Professor Dahalia, and let you give us a little bit about your background. Your of course, we know, I mean, to have dad to be your teacher, that's another kind of picture there. So kind of tell us about that. Tell everyone about that, that avenue in which you had to take in coming into this.
Yes, sir. Having your father as your instructor, it's a blessing. Yes. During it, I probably had some other thoughts at the time, but now that I'm older and I look back at time, it was all for a reason. It was all worth it. After Pops moving from Brooklyn to California and having the dojo, I'm very glad that he has always spoke about you living legends till this day. At that time, I never met you guys. I just always heard the names and just heard you guys. I've heard Professor Dominique. I've heard of Grandmaster Veronica. I've heard of Grandmaster Abdul. Those names was always with me on the mat. So when I finally got to meet you guys, I'll meet you soon, Professor Dominique.
Yes.
But to put the names to the faces. It was a confirmation that the village that we are in together is strong, and strong to the point where my father moving to California and still installing his teaching of Sanukis and giving me a great foundation and a great platform. And no, it wasn't easy. Okay. And I respect that. And I love the fact that he didn't give it to me easy because I was his daughter. And I believe that he can say that as well. And also being the only woman on the map was good, the bad, and the ugly. And for all that, fast forward to now, looking back, it was all well worth it because everything that has happened, everything that has steered all the ingredients, all the mixings coming together and cooking and now having it here was all just a majestic moment of growth, a majestic moment of learning about inner self, a majestic moment of getting to know someone in other ways. Yes, he is my father. Yes, he is my instructor. Yes, he's a man. Yes, he's a husband. He's, all these things as well, which got me to understand more of how it is to be a martial artist, a human being, especially a Black person living in what we're living in. Having him stay rooted to Sanukis and to keep his fundamentals and his basics, especially the pia forms, because that's what he has told us that that's what he kept using when he moved out here. That he kept his pia forms, kept getting more in depth, more in tune with them, to the point where that continued his teachings on when he got his students. I love these pia forms to where every time I do them, I learn more each time. So imagine doing these every day and learning every day something new about these forms. And these forms is a lifetime book of Sanukis that you can always go back and read, it and find a different view in what we have with these forms and everything else that we have in Sanukis. Me finally getting to, this is the video social media. I've heard all the names. Facebook came in the game. I was late to the party, but I logged in and started getting to know people. And when I finally got a chance to actually meet Soki Hassan, and Grandmaster Saifullah had reached out to me and invited me to Philly. And this was like my very first time getting to see and touch and feel most of the names that I've heard when I was learning back in Cali. And so to see Grandmaster Saifullah, to see Soki Hassan, to see Grandmaster George Logan, to see Joe Mutakabir, to see so many names. Please forgive me if I didn't say your name, but I know that I will never forget the touch. And just the welcoming aspect of it. Everybody was great. It was just, and I was nervous. I said, my first time here. All right. I just want to present, California well. I want to present myself. I want to present Sanukis in the best way that I know how. And all the blood, sweat, and tears that we all go through as martial artists. At that time, when I went to Philly, it was all left on the mat there. It was a new beginning. Fast forward to now, and then finally meeting you again in an adult life, Grandmaster Abdul. Because I remember me first meeting you when I was in Chicago with you, and we were at the Aikido dojo, and I was the only woman to get on that mat, and I'm glad you guys invited me because I was a brown belt at that time in a full black belt class, and that was a true blessing to be able to be involved in that, and to see you men work and get to work, myself with you guys was great. And so all that, I give thanks to my instructor for providing the correct tools in life of being a martial artist. And I give thanks to my father for giving the tools and the foundation of life. And I give thanks to my mother for installing the first teachings of what needs to be done as a foundation of becoming, the person that I am today. And I give thanks to our ancestors to keep that backbone structure in there strong.
That's awesome. I appreciate that. And in fact, you were a brown belt, but as I recall, that's when you made your black.
Yes.
I think I put it on. I don't know.
Yes, and I have the pictures. Yes, that was such a beautiful surprise. I had no idea. I was just excited just to be there and just soak in and absorb the whole seminar and everything. And it was just even more of a true blessing to be involved in such a great family and to be awarded, you know, to get a belt. You know, some people say, oh, it's not about the belt, it's about the skills. Oh, belt, you just hold up your pants, and all these things are true. But all the blood, sweat, and tears that we go through just to have someone tell you you're on the right path. And here's a symbol of being on the right path, to continue to strive and to be on that right path. Because, you know, just here you go. And that was beautiful. And I appreciate you. I remember you telling me, are you ready? I was like, yes, sir. And you said, yeah, all right, I need 20 black belts to come line up. I'm thinking I'm getting ready to go through the line and like get it in, pull my braids back and was ready. And I remember you looking at me like, ready? And we had this, well, to me, I remember this eye communication, and you can tell that I was ready, but you were just joking. At that time, you know. But it was good. It's good to know that I was ready to take all 20. You know, I was getting ready to give and receive. And that's the beautiful part of being a martial artist, is to know when to give and receive, and know when to touch and go, and know when to be calm, and know when to put it in and get strong and stern, you know. And I give thanks to all of that, because it's molding me into the woman that I'm supposed to be. Okay. Never going to stop growing. I tell my cubs this all the time. You know, learning is very important. Don't ever think that you don't have everything, because that'll be the time that you stop learning and you miss everything. So you just have to be able to soak it in and get embodied and be willing to learn, have an open mind and heart. And I feel like I had that good foundation through my parents, and my father is my instructor. It'd be great times. We would be at home, you know, just being a kid watching TV, eating a bowl of cereal. He'll walk in like, let me show you something. It's like, boom, this in the living room, you know, things are happening. So those are the times that I remember the most, that being there, because, you know, and I'm sure you've probably done it with your children too, Grandmaster, and those are good times for having a father as your instructor.
Yes. Even though it's not necessarily understood during its time of receiving and giving and receiving, but you know, we pray that they learn later on in life the significance of whatever we do. And going here now, Sister Aziza, you know, in terms of where you are in the art, I know there is great anxiety in some of what you feel may be expectations for yourself, being the wife of someone like myself. What I want you to kind of talk to right now is we were talking about Mother's Day. We're talking about mothers in particular, but mothers represent that there are others that are that are being birthed, and while they're being birthed, they're coming through a canal that is life. We're talking about life, that they are now coming through that canal, which is, you know, we've been taught, you know, by the minister and the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You know, we've been taught that we as parents are not the producers of the children, but we're the conduit by which they come. So, you know, some people come to class to just be in class, and they expect to just get some information, to learn something, and to keep moving. But they don't necessarily see that they are coming out of a channel to be a part of a family, So, you get an opportunity to be to see a lot of those that come through, and they begin to talk and see you as sometimes they'll use you to talk to you as opposed to talking to me. So kind of, give a little communication as it relates to your part in this, because, do you see yourself as being one of the mothers in the school, and just give me a little idea. I'm just throwing it at you now.
Well, I'm like seriously full right now, because you touched on a lot of things that's like really getting to the core of me even being involved in this. And one, you as my instructor, but my husband, poses a dynamic that's not like a father teaching a child. And of course, there's sometimes that resistance and that opposition, that we go through, because one, I have to remember that you're my instructor and not my husband on the mat. Or if you do something that pisses me off and I take it out on you even when we get home, stuff like that, like the testing and I know I'm digressing a bit, but
no, that's it.
Testing, and you punch me so hard or you knock me to the floor, and then, I'm mad at you for about 3 weeks. This is actually really true. Okay. But, being able to separate that and go through what you have to go through as both Professor Zahalia and Professor Dominique expressed, that you don't get treated any differently. And I can attest to that, even though sometimes I thought I got treated worse, because I always felt like he had to make a point to everyone that I'm not going to get treated better. But nevertheless, I've seen, you mentioned something, and where I am right now, as a parent, when you start having children, your main goal is to take care of your children. And maybe all the things that you wanted to do in life has to be put on hold, or some of those things have to be put on hold for a while, because you have to focus on raising your child, rearing them, and allowing them to grow into who they're going to be and pursue their endeavors. Your time, your energy, your money, and all of that goes towards helping them to become who they are. And I see a symmetry right now that I've never seen before till this moment, that I've had things to do for you in running a school and helping others to, to get their footing into the program, and for them to feel like family, because our school has always been that. I've seen a lot of masters come into the dojo and whatnot, and I've seen a lot of students, but we've always been able to perpetuate a feeling of family, so that you are coming to the dojo to learn a thing, but you're coming to be a part of a family. And because we've done that, and that's what we've established, that's how I've treated the children, even the adults, because as you know, some who are even older than me still refer to me as mama. But I can see now why my transition, or my walk through this is it's been through a lot of years, but I don't have the rank. And it's not that if in my mind I wanted the rank, I just wanted the training. And that's the first thing probably that prohibited the rank. But nevertheless, I can see the symmetry in being the mama and taking on other responsibilities to help people get where they want to go, and not actually getting there myself in that time frame. And I guess that might answer some of the part of the question that you asked me. I hope it does. But I feel good about it right now, where before I didn't feel good about it. But we all have a part to play.
Yes.
We can't run a show with everybody doing the same thing. Everybody has their part. So I want to continue having my part and helping as many to feel as comfortable and being able to apply what you teach us even outside, because I must say, as my instructor, I am often in awe of not just what you do on the mat, but what you teach us through your conversation of applying what we do on the mat to how we live outside. And I must say, to go back to the question that you asked the other sisters, Soke Littlejohn is now a very integral part of my training, thanks to COVID-19 and Zoom training. And I can really appreciate everything that Professor Dominique said is right and exact. And Soke will push you. Soke will call you out. Soke will make you see yourself. Soke is definitely going to make you try harder. And that's something that in the very beginning I was afraid of, because I used to hear the stories about Soke and I'd be like, oh my God, I can't be in his class. But now I can understand and I can appreciate it. Grandmaster Bill McLeod. I can even go back to think about classes with Shion Wayne. And they were all challenging, but every single class with all of them, you always felt like you was a part of a family.
Yes.
So it was just necessary, me as your wife, to be that to everybody going in and out of the door.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's
I don't know. Did I answer your question?
Oh my, you answered it and some. It's good, and that's what I love about this, because I treat the conversation like we study the art, or we do a technique. We don't arrange the technique. It's you get a particular movement based on what you're facing. And it can change even if you had something in your mind. It could change because the intent of the individual who you are facing may alter in some kind of way. And that will change the technique. So it's just like coming to class. You can become your own difficulty, or matter of fact, you are your own difficulty, because after you come to class, you then make it and you say, man, I'm glad I came to class. So I want to kind of go here, and we'll be closing. Listen, everyone, if you have not, again, subscribe, visit our channel, the official Grandmaster Anthony Muhammad YouTube channel, so that you can take a look at all of what we have on. And it's really incredible getting an opportunity to walk with the masters that I introduce on this podcast. So I appreciate you. Click subscribe so that you can be a part of that, and you can keep getting it, because we got a lot more. You haven't even scratched the surface, or we haven't even scratched the surface with the masters on right now. But I absolutely appreciate what we have done and who we have talked to, and you need to get a chance to take a look. Now, this is one of the last things that I really want to touch on, and it's very important because, in terms of women, I know that, this martial arts world is a male dominated, as you've heard, family out there, you've heard them say, and I was the only woman on, and I was the only one. But it's not that they're the only women that want to learn, but because they had to be different. They had to be greater than what is out there because, men are dominating, and we're talking about the attitude of men, the desire, as well as what is being placed on women as it relates to this art. So you got to make yourself to be recognized in a certain way. And if you do not, you'll find yourself falling away. You'll find yourself in situations I have had in my school, and I know in others, there are those who have to deal, and all women have to deal with the possibilities of relationship. And then in the relationship, or in that, do you lose your place in the art? Do you find something else to do as opposed to maintaining this? Is this something extra, or is this really a part of your life? So I'd like for you all to kind of share with me a part of your distresses or your issues, but I want you to speak to those other women that are out there. And see, but this is not only speaking to women. See, you're speaking to men also to let them know what you go through. And in them having an understanding of what you go through, we can then appreciate it so that we can handle you better. Because there are many times it's not that women are exactly, matter of fact, I'll say it, women are not exactly like men. There are various aspects. We're taught in Islam that a woman or marriage is half your faith. So that means that when union comes, there is two sides. There are the two sides of the coin, where that is a wholeness, a oneness, that now if I were by myself, I know, and I'll say this, that if I didn't have my wife to be there with me, she gives a whole nother look and appreciation to it. And I have to listen, to some of those things. Does that mean that I'm not still the head of my house? Yes, I'm still the head, but in order to be the head, you have to have a sense of understanding, a sense of your mind has to be such that you respect the thinking of others. So this is not for me to talk. This is for you. So I want to just ask you, speak to the sisters who come into the art, because we get a lot that come in, but we don't have a lot that stay. And those who do stay, of course, go through the rigors and the difficulties. So give them some understanding so it can strengthen them as they walk through and on top of these hot coals that they have to walk through. So give them some understanding, and we'll start. Let me get you, Aziza. So tell me about how you feel and what you want to pass on to someone else in order to stay steadfast on this path.
Yeah. Knowing you and how you move, seeing you as a person, what it is that well, first of all, when I first met you, I saw that there was something about you that was so different. And in the sense that you talked about something, I met you at a time when you were talking about what it was that you loved doing. And that was martial arts, winning the gold medal in the police Olympics. But there was like a beam of light coming out of your eyes from talking about it. That is what really interested me. And as I see you as a martial art practitioner, how you do what you do is an explanation of why that beam of light was coming out of your eyes. It's something that you really love. And I know that you love doing it. I love teaching it. And it's not about teaching it for money. It's about sharing what has been poured into you. And when meeting your instructors, you know, it just all comes together for me like a beautiful tapestry. So I know that I have to, if I'm a part of you, I have to have that come forth from me too, to keep those people who gravitate to you right there having a full experience. Because I know that you don't do this just for naught, but as you came forth from the doc and from Soke, there's people who should come forth from you looking like you, who looks like Soke, who looks like Doc, so on and so forth. And that's how the legacy continues. But because of who you are as a person, I have to be that. And it's not that I don't think that I ever was, because I had to be for us to come together. But for us to, I have to be that in the dojo as well, you know, so that we can continue this legacy of these marvelous martial artists that so few can even touch. I'm in awe over all of that, and sometimes it seems like I might not really understand it or really appreciate it for what it is, but I really do. Every single time I see Soke on that Zoom, every single time I see you and what just comes out of you at a moment, and I think about what I've seen from Doc. This is important work. This is very important work, and you know, I'm grateful. I thank Allah, and that I am where I am. No matter where that is, I'm in it, and I'm here to help you and others just, you know, become great.
So let's go to Zahalia, Professor Zahalia. You give me your conversation. I should say, you give to our audience the conversation necessary to overcome the difficulties for women in the dojo.
For the women out there who are involved or who would like to get involved, so show some type of interest in the arts, you just got to be able to have a clear mind and know you got to put in the work. Good things do not come easy. You got to put in the work. For those who say, well, maybe I can't go, I got to do this, he's got soccer practice, she's got this here and that and third. You just have to be able to utilize your time and just to try to find some type of flow for your schedule. I'm married, 2 cubs, and no, it's not easy sometimes, but we make it work, you know. I'm very blessed for my husband. He is not a martial artist. I think we are the exact opposite. So it's like our opposites attract. And he loves that I'm in the arts. He loves that, you know, what I do. And you have to have a man who is comfortable with himself to know that his wife is going to be out there with men flipping and hitting and doing things that maybe to someone, a man who's not comfortable with himself might be jealous off of that, or just like, you know, maybe doesn't want you to be around men working on how to like just straight up fight, you know what I mean? And for me, to have a good support system is always great. And if you do not have a support system with others, you have a support system with yourself. And don't ever forget your worth. Don't ever dim your light to impress or to let someone else, you know, feel better about you. Like, you feel good about what you got going on, and they'll adjust. Okay. And if you do have a husband who's with it or who's not with it, and if you really, really feel in your heart that this is still something that you want to do, don't give up for any man. You have to be able to find a happy balance, and if not, then you know, I'm not trying to. I don't want to do this, do that. My life experiences, you know, meeting my husband, becoming a mother, and becoming a business owner, you know, it just all had its moments of trial and error. And trial and error is life experiences. And you learn, you either learn or you keep getting the lesson. You either learn or the lesson keeps coming back to you until you tap in and really get to understand what it is that you need to do. It came to one point where my daughter, she had severe asthma, and Mama Judy knows about this, and to the point where she was hospitalized a lot. And I was able to still be with her and still manage to keep the dojo open, still manage to have my son go to school, still manage to have dinner ready, all at the same time. And I give thanks to the creator and to my family and the support system just to let everything flow in its place. So all I can say is just because you have children, don't stop doing your dream. Just because you may have a husband that may not see the future in what you're trying to pursue, why don't you guys, if you're not in the journey together, Mama Judy's married to you, Professor Dominique, you're married to Professor James, so it's like it's a union that you guys have an understanding because you all are martial artists. But for some women, they might not have a man who's a martial artist. So their mindset might be different, and they might think of it in a different way that might not be positive. So, and then there are some men who don't want their women to know how to fight or anything, because I actually had a student who came in to learn because she knew she really needed it. And it happened, unfortunately, it happened to be for her relationship. And when her husband felt the strength growing with his woman, he stopped her from coming to class.
Yes.
And that broke my heart, because sometimes, I'm not saying all, but sometimes men don't want their women to rise up and be who they are, their worth, to be. We're not trying to be like you, we're trying to be with you. That's the balance of a man and a woman. But sometimes, this particular situation, the man didn't want her to be strong and powerful and feel good about herself. And, to this day, I think about that relationship, and that's probably more than what is actually going on in this world. Just trying to figure out how to maintain a balance. So if you are a woman now in the martial arts or want to become one in the future, or just, anything that you want to do, you want to be an entrepreneur, own your own business, do this, do that, and have the children and the husband, everything, do it. Don't let nobody tell you you can't do nothing. And especially when they're not even trying it themselves.
Yeah. Yes.
Make sure that you try it and give it the best that you can, that you honestly say, well, I gave it the best that I can. So I know that I tried. And if it still didn't work, then you tap into something else. There's a lot of things on this planet that you just don't have to stick to one thing. With that, I'm very blessed to have my dance background. I grew up as a dancer, and that has helped me through my martial arts with me being a dancer. So that was a great balance within itself. But I was lucky to be one of these women that likes. I'm an adventurous. I like to go out and just try everything. That's been my flow, and just to continue to grow and do your dream and make it come true.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And to close us out, Professor Dominique, let me hear from you, please. Let our audience hear from you.
First, I want to say thank you, Professor Zahalia, for saying what you said in terms of for women in the martial arts. There's a lot of factors that comes into play for women and the lack of women in the arts. And what Professor Zahalia had said is extremely important. These are pressing issues. They are issues that we must address. But there's also another factor, which is there's a saying that if you build it, they will come. Mm-hmm. And I feel that in the art itself, the schools have to be more sensitive to the different types of women. At the beginning of this podcast, you said women, there's different types of hues. We're not just the primary colors. We have the mauves, we have the electric blues, we have the crimson reds. The diversity of women and the different characteristics that exist amongst us. the dojo has to be more sensitive in terms of women and who we are and the different things that goes on in our lives, just like Professor Zahalia had said, domestic violence and just, sometimes feeling that we are not equal or capable of doing this. We have to create an environment where the weak can come in and become strong, that they don't walk in feeling they have to be strong to start the martial arts, that this is a place where they will become strong. It will make them, if they're already strong, it will make them stronger. But we must create an environment where it's just like a butterfly. We start in a cocoon where you're just a thought, you're just a seed, and then you blossom into something big. And that, I feel, is the most important aspect, is that we have to create an environment where it's welcoming for women of all types to feel that, hey, I can walk in here and try this out. It shouldn't be so intimidating that it's beyond their capacity to even walk in.
Yes, ma'am.
And because when you look at statistics, women practitioners stay. When they join the martial arts school, they stay and they go through the entire process and they become a black belt. GM, think about it. How many women have you had in relationship to how many that stayed versus how many men came through the school and how many of them stayed?
Right.
We are extreme. We stay. When we start something, we have staying power. But something's happening. Why aren't we staying? And I really feel that we just need to readdress the beginning, the entry level of the art, so it can be more welcoming to some of the women that doesn't have too much on their side. They may be overweight. They may be dealing with high blood pressure, which means they can't do high intensity just the minute they walk in. I think we have to be more sensitive in how we create an environment for them. So upon entry, they feel that there's a place for them to be able to grow, to become what they're supposed to be, which is, extraordinary.
Yes.
But then the program itself can't be ordinary to create extraordinary people.
That's right.
So I really feel we really need to, we have to build the right environment for them. And if we build it, I believe they will come and stay.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you to all of you. I mean, I'm excited. I mean, you all have really made my day, so I'm sorry, I'm going to have to say thank you for Mother's Day. I appreciate it. You've done a tremendous job, and I pray that everyone, male, the female, and the children, that they learn from you all what you have shared. So with that, with just saying that, I want to thank you again and invite everyone to let someone else know that this show happened. Let them to guide them and send them what they need so that they can view this show and become a part of this family now. So, again, when you look at this show, don't look at it like you're just coming into the dojo and you just want to leave out. But no, when you come into our dojo, which is Walking with the Warrior, you become a family member, and we are happy to have you. And these women are looking forward to being mothers to you in this training. Thank you. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I pray that you all have great success and your families are also successful and safe. Us.
Happy Mother's Day, all.
Happy Mother's Day. Thank you, Grandmaster.
Every student of a master here today You reflect your master teacher. You want to walk like him. You want to talk like her. But you start by having an object in front of you that you admire.